Okay, so my neighbor gave me some tomatoes from their garden. Um, to most people, these aren't probably like the prettiest of tomatoes, but to me, they're perfect. They're really kind of soft, so I'm gonna make a stew out of them, like a lentil stew. They're still good. They're just really soft. So yeah, y'all just wait to see that. So now I just have some chunks of tomatoes. I'm gonna blend these up in my blender, or maybe I'll use my magic bullet. This doesn't look like a whole lot. I just need just a chunk them up real quick. Well, I think I'll do it in the blender. Okay, so as you can see, I did not blend it up to be completely smooth. I don't want it completely smooth. What I'm going to do is pour this into a pan to let it cook down a little bit. I don't want to pour fresh tomatoes into my stew because it's not going to taste as good. So I'm going to put some bay leaves in this, and that's it. Just bay leaf, and let it just do its thing. Cook down a little bit, get the water out of it a little bit, and when we come back you'll see what the tomato sauce looks like. So if you don't want to do this step and you're like, no, I don't want to do fresh tomatoes, or I don't have fresh tomatoes, you can also do the the quick way. It still tastes good, but fresh tomato I like better, so you can use this crushed tomatoes, but I prefer to do it myself. But I'm not using this. I'm using the tomatoes that my just 3 bay leaf, and I'll come back to disturb this later. Okay, so then you're going to dice up an onion. I have a purple onion here. I usually use a white onion for this dish, but because it's a rainstorm outside, I'm not going outside, so we're going to use a purple onion. And as you can see, there's like some green specks in my purple onion. That's because I threw in the additional diced onions that I had yesterday with cilantro. Who cares? It's going in there. It's going to cook. It's going to become a delicious lentil stew. Okay, so the other thing is, before you do all of this, you should probably pick through your lentils, make sure there's no stones. Wash the lentils really well. Don't nobody want to eat stones or dirty lentils. So right now I'm just draining them in my colander. They're sitting under a plate is underneath of it, so I'm just draining them after I wash them before I start to cook them. It's fine. I'll show y'all all the spices. Okay friends, so here we have it. This is what we have left of the tomatoes. Once they're cooked down, I want to leave just a little bit of water in them. I don't want them completely dry. Ooh, it's foggy. This should fog up my camera. There we go. So this is what it looks like. And all I added to these tomatoes is, ooh, it's fogging up my camera. All I added to these tomatoes is a little bit of bay leaves, 3 bay leaves. This is what we have left. We have some liquid in there. I want to leave that little bit of liquid in there. I don't want dry. I don't want them dry. I want to leave it just like this. If you want them drier, you can cook them longer, but then you don't want to keep cooking and cooking. You'll end up with paste. So this is what we have. We have crushed tomato. Okay. So now we're going to start cooking. So next you're going to heat up your pan. You're going to add some olive oil. Notice I said heat up your pan first. Do not put the pan on the stove and then immediately pour oil on it. That's not good. So you heat up the pan, put some oil in there, add your onions. Hear the sizzle. Nice. It's very low sizzle. Okay, so let those onions cook a little bit. Here I have some of my homemade ginger and garlic paste that I make myself. I'm going to drop that in there. Yep, just like that. Just drop it in there, and I'm going to saute it some more. Then I'm going to start adding my spices to it. Now, usually I use my wooden spoon, but I'm being lazy today, and I don't want to wash too many dishes. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this spoon. Mix that up in there and let them do what they got to do. Then I'm going to start adding spices. Now, I'm not going to give away all of my secrets here. I don't like to add too much oil. As you can see, my pan is not, oil is not floating around in my pan. There's not a lot. And the reason for that is because I want to be healthy. Now, if you, on the other hand, don't care, add as much oil as you like. I like to be cooking with not too much oil. I'm going to add some spices. Okay, there's my spices. And no, I'm not going to tell you exactly what they are. Now, keep in mind, you do need enough oil in the pan to make sure that your spices do not burn. And for me, I'm pretty good at this, so I don't use a lot of oil at all. And my spices will not burn, okay? But if you are not that good and you're not that fast at moving this around, then you probably want to add some more oil. But me, I'm good. Noodles going in. Coconut milk going in. Add water. Okay. Then we're going to add some salt to taste. Be very careful with this step. You don't want too much salt. Add your salt. If you have a fresh hot pepper, you can go ahead and add that. For me, I don't have any fresh ones. I have the ones that I made into a hot pepper sauce. The hot pepper sauce recipe will be in my cookbook. So I'm just going to add 1 spoon of my hot pepper sauce. And you see the hot pepper sauce has oil in it. You don't need to add too much oil to your soup. If you're using something like this, you got to be very mindful of that salt and oil. See that? Okay. So then you mix that up in there. And don't worry if you didn't put enough salt in there yet, because you're going to do another taste test after a little while. And now you're going to add your clean lentils. All right. So another thing is, if you have a lot of lentils, like I do, I had a pound of lentils. You want to probably add like 2 cans of coconut milk if you're using small cans. And also I went back and I tasted it for pepper, so I added more pepper. And now I'm going to add some gram masala. This is very, very important. You're going to add that to taste as much as you like to taste. Now, keep in mind that as you're cooking this, you're going to keep going back to taste it for flavor. I don't suggest you put more curry in it. Please put enough curry in the beginning so that way the curry can cook. Okay, so now you're going to cover this up and let it cook. You don't want the fire up too high. You want it to cook between medium and low, whichever way your stove works best. For me, I'm going to put this on medium and let it just cook. And then I'm going to come back and taste it for salt and make sure that it's okay.